Ross, let's talk a bit about co-design because whether we're considering hospital at home or healthcare at home or clinical trial design, it seems that there's a common denominator here of how do we incorporate the insights of the stakeholders who will be impacted to optimize the design of these upfront. I know you've been leading at that within life sciences for a number of years. What do you sense are the best practices today, whether one is designing a new healthcare strategy or a clinical research approach?
I would say best practice is to assume nothing. Assume, I think what we've seen from experience is that our assumptions are often wrong about what people want and need, and that we really need to ask them. And we need to ask representative people of whoever is going to be affected by whatever it is you're developing, to make sure that their representatives are included in those conversations and that they're included from the very start, and that that's iterative along the development of whatever medical product or technology is being developed, and that continues as an iterative process for as long as that product is going to be available. As new products will come into the ecosystem, as new guidelines come in, we have to go back and revisit with all of the stakeholders and to bring in the different stakeholders at the same time as well as individually, separately.
Hilary, I'm curious, as you hear that theme of assume nothing, are you sensing that within healthcare and life sciences are organizations that are designing new things, whether a trial protocol or a healthcare strategy, are they taking that approach of assume nothing and engaging with diverse patients and other stakeholders in the process?
So I think the best ones are. I think, as Ros has said, I'm not sure everybody is doing it. I'm not sure all companies of all sizes or different areas of expertise are doing it, but I think the best ones will. Because if you go in with any baggage, then you will probably influence the population you're looking at. In fact, earlier today I was hearing about some work being done in one of the large teaching hospitals in London with their trusted research environment, where they've looked at, across a number of disease areas, not just oncology, which is my background, to find that actually the outcomes for people of colour, the outcomes for women are often worse. And that's because actually certain assumptions are baked in to the way things are designed, if you like, around our idea of a norm. So if you go in and assume nothing, then actually the views of a young woman from a different background compared with an older man, who may be white and middle class, they may well converge in places, but they will probably be starting from different points. So assume nothing is probably a very good principle, especially given that we actually don't always recruit to clinical trials to represent the whole diversity of the populations that we will ultimately treat with the drugs that come through.
Roz, there are many folks out there who may feel it's aspirational to talk to and listen and engage with patients early on, but they feel resource constrained now more than ever. We don't have time, we don't have budget. Does this have to be an expensive, time-consuming process, especially if we want to capture representative patient input?
I would say we don't have time and budget to not do it, because it is a business to run clinical trials. We know this, right? But a better patient experience and patient engagement, so that we have that better patient participant experience, I should say, that's good business, because there are dollar signs that come along with, slow recruitment, or those fire drills that we've all seen to accelerate recruitment that's too slow, or protocol deviations and dropouts. All of that has a dollar sign or a euro sign in front of it. And if we can mitigate that by patient engagement and spend upfront, so there is a cost. The patient engagement is not free. So we have to think about that cost that is put out there upfront with resource and with money to not only improve the experience, but also to save those costs down the road, which would be far greater if you're trying to catch up, because we have seen that in practice.
Hilary, do you also find that patient inclusion, patient co-development, or research participant, whichever category it may be, is that good for business? Is there a positive ROI for organizations to include patient insight?
Yes, absolutely. It's exactly as Ros says. If you don't do it up front, then you'll end up having to kind of take steps backwards as you start to implement and roll out the study or think about future studies. So I think the more you know, the more you co-design, the more you take on board patient insights, participant insights, the better your design, and therefore the easier to recruit patients, actually. And I think it is a real positive. I think it's certainly a positive if you just look at the charity world. There are so many medical charities. If the medical charities can also see your inclusive approach to co-production, then actually they will also be more supportive of what you're trying to achieve. So yeah, I think there's a win-win.